What is going on? Welcome to episode 53 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, and player 2 on this one is Ice30. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's late where you are, so we'll try not to keep you up too long. Before we jump into this, guys, if you want to get yourself a free book from Audible, you can go to audibletrial.com/NPC. There I recommend books like Super Mario, How Nintendo Conquered America, and The Ultimate History of Video Games is also another really good one. So audibletrial.com/NPC. I've recently started getting into Bitcoin. So if you guys want to invest in Bitcoin, which I recommend being careful, but if you do want to get started with it, you can go to thelootcave.com/Bitcoin. And if you invest $100, you and I each get $10 for free. So that's pretty cool. That's thelootcave.com/Coinbase. And again, I'm not recommending you invest. Just be careful, be smart. It's a little crazy right now, but it's fairly profitable right now. So thelootcave.com/Bitcoin. Also, the chair I'm sitting in from OPSeat. Go to opseat.com and use coupon code N64Josh to save $10 off your purchase. These are great chairs. They're comfortable. They're affordable. I highly recommend them. And lastly, I do have a Patreon now where you can get extra podcasts, you can get extra videos, and there's a lot of extra content. It's patreon.com/N64Josh. That's it. I'm done selling out. Woo! We are live on twitch.tv/N64Josh. Superstar 120, welcome. Nightcrawler, welcome. Anybody that's just lurking, welcome. We are glad that you are here. Of course, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when we do this thing live on Twitch. You'll be able to find all the links that we mentioned, the YouTube video, the podcast link, all that stuff on the lootcave.com/NPC53. And there is still a Nintendo website in the works. I have the domain. I just have to have the time to build it. So I'm shooting for the first of the year. I know a lot of people have been asking when that's coming out. So hopefully the first of the year. And I will be looking for people to help contribute to that site. So hopefully we can build something awesome together. Okay, I'm going to take a breath and say, what's up, Ice30? Thanks for reaching out, man. You just you showed up in my chat the other day and started talking some video games, and you're like, "Hey, can you ever consider having me be a guest?" And I said, "Sure." So here we are. Or maybe, hello? Are you still here? Maybe he's not here. Oh, Discord. Hello?
Shit.
Hey.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey,
you
back.
froze on me.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Discord's being finicky.
I'm making sure
tonight.
nothing's running at my house right now, so the internet should be strong.
Yeah, who knows what's going on? Crickets, right? So, let's talk about your history with Nintendo. What were some of your first games?
All right. Well, see, when I was a kid, I actually started. My parents got us a Atari first, so that was kind of my first start into video games. Was the good old Atari 2600. But then my grandpa, my family, they were actually real big into garage sales. So my grandpa, he actually picked us up a regular Nintendo. So we were always a generation behind because, we had 3 boys, 2 girls, parents weren't trying to buy the newest thing. So we had a regular Nintendo when everybody else had a Super Nintendo.
I got you. What were some of your what were the games that kept you going?
It's funny. Like obviously Mario Brothers was huge. Sure. But one of the games we played the most was that. Oh man, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was with the power pad. It was that track and field game.
Yeah,
we would love
stadium
playing
events?
on that thing. It wasn't. What was the one? It was called what?
Was it Stadium Events? It's only worth like $50,000 now. So if you still have it, you may want to go.
See, and I used to think that too. I was like, man, did we have Stadium Events, or was it the original, or the one they changed the name to?
Right, which was, I don't even remember now off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, track and field and stuff. If the like the third installment of the NES, you had Mario, Duck Hunt, and track and field all on one cart.
Yeah, see, the one we had, I think, was just the track and field game, but
okay.
I do remember that cart you're talking about.
For sure. So, did you end up getting the Super Nintendo when the Nintendo 64 came out?
Pretty much. That's kind of how it went. Then, actually, the first Super Nintendo we had was the second model.
Okay, cool.
We bought it. My grandma bought it for us brand new for Christmas, and I think it was when the 64 was brand new. I think when we got that system, I believe they came out, the second model, didn't that come out around the same time as the 64 was new? I believe, I can't remember when it was, but
I don't know exactly when it came out, but I remember seeing it. I ended up getting one of those for my wife. And she might have just been my girlfriend at the time. So it was either 99 or 2000, but I remember seeing those things in Toys R Us like for way longer than what I expected. You know, those things were on the shelves for quite some time. So it probably was around the time the 64 came out or possibly a year after.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably, yeah, 'cause we had the Super Nintendo, like I said, I think when the 64, so it might have been even a couple years after the, like I said, we were always behind generations, but I believe, yeah, that was probably it. But then I end up getting a job because I was, getting paper route, and I think I might even been working my first job like in a restaurant then, but I saved up money and bought a Nintendo 64 myself. So then once I started working is when I was able to start like being caught up with the generations. Like I would actually buy what was new.
So what was the first game you got with your 64?
Oh man, let's see. I want to say, I think Mario 64 was probably the first game, but then I remember playing a lot of Pokemon Stadium.
Okay.
Like that was a big game that I was big into Pokemon when I was a kid. I had the Game Boy, and we like literally when we walked home from school every day, every kid had a Game Boy in his hand playing Pokemon when you were walking home from school.
Link cables and all, right? Just like clotheslining people as they were trying to walk by. Like
yeah, and that little transfer pack thing that you would hook up to your 64.
Of course.
I remember that thing. You would want to transfer all your Pokemon to the game. But yeah, I mean, I think Pokemon Stadium and Mario 64 were big games. Then, of course, I see somebody in the chat talking about Mario Kart. But yeah, that was another big one that I think we played a lot of.
How about like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark? Did you get into those? Yeah,
I did. I didn't actually own that game myself. I had a buddy who actually, he had a 64 before I did, and we would always go over his house and play. It was always GoldenEye and Smash Brothers. I remember playing that over his house. And eventually I did get both of those games, but I think by the time I got GoldenEye, it was kind of like people weren't playing it as much anymore.
Gotcha. So did you stick with Nintendo? That is the question. Did you get a GameCube?
I wish I could say I did, but I went to the dark side. Unfortunately, I was a stupid kid, and obviously, Funko Land before GameStop. Right. I traded in all my regular Nintendo games and then regular Nintendo, and I got a brand new PlayStation 2, the Gran Turismo bundle.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could take that back.
Yeah, I understand. Did you end up with a GameCube eventually?
Yeah, I did. It was a little bit later down the line. I actually ended up with all three in that generation. I had the PlayStation, then I got the GameCube, and then I got the Xbox late in life. But it was kind of like when I got an original Xbox is when Halo 2 was about to come out, I think, is when I got to that. So
Oh man, I played so much Halo 2. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of Halo 2. Loved that game. Really great game. What were some of your favorite GameCube titles?
GameCube for sure was. I played a lot of Mario Kart. I love that double dash. I don't know what it was about it, where you switch the characters. Definitely unique.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's the best, obviously, Mario Kart game, but it was very fun. Another one, I'd say, probably played a decent amount of the Rogue Squadron game that had that, and then I'd say Smash Brothers again. Loved Smash Brothers for the GameCube, and then Mario Baseball. That Mario Baseball game, we really love playing that game.
Was it called, and of course, the wrestling or something games like that?
What's that?
Super Sluggers or something like that? Wasn't that the?
Yeah, see, I get confused because there's like a one for regular Nintendo, or not regular Nintendo Wii, and then I think both names are pretty similar. So
yeah,
I always forget which one's which.
Yeah.
Plus, they came out with the GameCube ones that that went onto the Wii. I forget what they called those, or it was like different. You know what I'm saying, like the play. They did it with the tennis game, I believe, but it was like the actual GameCube game. They made it be able to play on the Wii, and then they put it in a Wii case and on. You know, I'm talking about those.
Yeah,
I can't remember what they're called now.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. The I mean, there was like the soccer, tennis.
Yeah.
So, and the only ones I ever played was like golf. Honestly, golf and tennis were the only ones that, and those were from we played them on the 64, like religiously, and then we played them on the GameCube, like that. So many hours just playing golf, and then 4-player tennis was like one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, I do remember the tennis game on the Nintendo 64. That was pretty fun. I remember, didn't they introduce Waluigi in that game?
I believe so. Superstar 120 saying, the motion control GameCube games.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, there you go. They had I think there was several of them that they were just pretty much the same exact game, but they just made motion controls and put them on Wii.
I see. Superstar saying he had Donkey Kong Jungle Beat that way.
Yeah, that was another one.
So, I mean, technically Twilight Princess is that way, right?
Yeah.
Which is,
and who would have thought the GameCube one is better?
Right.
Well, that's my opinion. But
dude, I would rather play that than swing my arms around. Kirby saying Strikers made me rage so much. I want to go back and play some of those games because I have that sports pack on my DS, and I'm like, man, I bet some of these classics are pretty good.
You're talking about the 3DS one?
Yeah, the Mario Sports All Stars or something like that. I think is what they call it.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually just I picked that up not too long ago, and I've been playing that.
It's not bad, is it?
Oh no, it's pretty cool. And actually, I got suckered in with those dang amiibo cards. I ended up buying a ton of them because they were on clearance everywhere.
Tell me more.
Find them for a couple bucks a pack.
Yeah, I don't know that I've really talked about my amiibo cards, and I'd rather keep it that way. They know enough about me already. So
yeah.
Spoilers, they're open. So, well, that's cool. So then, did you end up with a Wii?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that was the second system I bought on launch was the Nintendo Wii. Actually, it was kind of a last minute decision, but I decided that I was gonna stand in line in the middle of the night, not in a safe area either, and try to get one on launch day. And I ended up getting one. I was like 5th or 6th in line.
And didn't get mugged on the way out, so that's good.
No, definitely good.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was more than a year later until I finally got a Wii. And it was only because I had a friend at GameStop put one behind the counter. So that he's like, I have one right now. You need to leave your house and get here now. And so,
yeah,
we boogied over there and picked it up, and that was that. But they were hard to find, man. They were so hard to find.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of why I was like, well, maybe I should get one of these. It seems like it's pretty hyped. Remember that and the PS3 both released the same day. So there were lines of people waiting for the PS3 at like Circuit City, and I was at Walmart waiting in line for the Wii.
Gotcha. So
and I ended up selling that dang thing because there was no games that really came. I got bored with playing Wii Sports so much, and Twilight Princess. We were done with Wii Sports and Twilight Princess, and I was like, well, why do I have this thing anymore? Nothing really would interest me for a while, so I ended up selling it to a family member who really wanted it for their kids. And then I heard later on they flipped it for double the money because they were so hard to find. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
So you sold it for him or like a deal, and then they scalped it?
Yeah, I sold it to him for cost, and they scalped it. They ended up scalping because he said his kid wasn't playing it. I was like, you could have just sold it back to me, man.
Not cool. Well, did you end up getting again and playing like Mario Galaxy and some of the like stellar titles on there?
Yeah, definitely. I actually still play Wii games on my Wii U, or sometimes I'll have the Wii hooked up somewhere. And yeah, Wii's, for all the flack people give it, like I still think it was a great system. People always say, "Oh, this is Nintendo's, just trying to appeal to mass audience, not a true gaming system type thing with the motion controls and everything." But I really thought it had a lot of good titles.
It did. I mean, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, that's some of Nintendo at its best, and even the Mario Kart on there was decent. There were definitely some titles worth noting on there. Even going back and playing Skyward Sword, like it's not my favorite, but it's still a pretty impressive game. For it feels like a big adventure, which is good. So did you get? You just said it. My next question was, did you get the Wii U? But you did. And what'd you think? Are you full of regret?
I did not get it around launch,
no?
But
okay.
I did get it. I believe I want to say a year and a half later or so, like around Christmas time. My wife, her and her mom actually bought it for me for Christmas because I was like, they're like, okay, do you want this or do you want that new Xbox that's going to be coming out here soon? And I just said, you know what, I want a Wii U because I know I've missed a lot of good games. So it might have been even a couple years now thinking about it. I think it was whenever the Xbox One first launched, I think is when I got a Wii U.
Okay. All right. So I think it's around a year later or so, give or take. Yeah, great system, right? I mean, Mario Kart 8 and the Mario games they ended up putting out on there, like I was very, very happy with that system. It was just the lack of games that was the big killer for that thing. Yeah,
I mean, it's actually, the best looking Wii games. You put them in there, they seem to look better on the TV when you put regular Wii games in there, and there were so many good Wii U games. Like you said, Mark, I actually love the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze game, and
looks gorgeous. It's a gorgeous game.
And I know a lot of people won't agree with me on this, but Mario 3D World is probably my favorite Mario game. And now I just started getting into Odyssey, so we'll see how that goes. But I loved Mario 3D World. I beat every level. I even went, played the hard levels at the end. I didn't do the easy way out where they would give you that gold block and you would just be able to easily beat it. I refused to take that no matter how many times I died.
Right. That's good. That was super helpful though. My daughter, that was the first Mario game she beat. So
and that's perfectly fine for
And that was like anybody. One of my proudest moments, like when she was like, "Dad, I'm at the final boss, but I need your help." And so, we took on Bowser together, and it was so great that we were able to do that. And she still looks back on that game very fondly. So it's good stuff. So, and now you're playing the Switch. So what have you been liking about the Switch?
Well, definitely. I don't know if I'm gonna get some flack for saying this, but I haven't even hooked up the what the heck? My mind's just not clicking. The dock. I don't know. I couldn't think of that word. I haven't plugged in the dock at all. All I play is handheld mode. I love that thing in handheld mode.
Really interesting.
Yeah, well, see, I have a 3DS also, and it's just like, my wife's watching TV. I'll be upstairs, in the same room as her. It's just easy to pop the Switch out and play it, or the 3DS. And then even if I'm just sitting anywhere, I don't have to mess with the TV at all. I just love playing it in handheld mode.
The chat is trolling me right now, saying that's how I beat Mario 3D World. I will have you know that I did complete that game before with my wife, actually. So,
jeez,
Kirby
got you good.
Yeah, she's just what's she saying now? Just let her beat the other 99% of it, and I helped her with the final push. Hey, that's what kids are for, right? So, but you said you've been playing Little Odyssey, and any other games that you just are really digging on the Switch?
Of course, Mario Kart 8. I think it's the best way to play it is on the Switch for sure. I mean, it's so smooth. It looks so great. Obviously, all the DLCs on it. I was a little disappointed that I kind of miss unlock. It didn't, because on the Wii U version you unlock things.
Right.
It just seemed like it was kind of not as good because I couldn't unlock it. It seemed like everything's already unlocked. I love unlocking those things, so that kind of took away from that. But yeah, Mario Kart 8. I've been playing that a little bit. Now I'm kind of nervous to get into Breath of the Wild. I know it's such a big game, and I'm pretty busy most of the time, but I know I got the game. I want to play it. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. And that actually, we could jump right into what I have been playing, what you have been playing this last week. It's been Zelda DLC and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for me. Zelda DLC, at first I was kind of frustrated with it. I just had picked it up the day it was announced, and I'll give more of a review on it later, but I will say that it ends with a bang, and I was very, very impressed with the end of it. So, and Xenoblade, I'm still just grinding, and I think the people that have to watch me stream it are like, he has no idea what he's doing. I think they're honestly just there for just to see how long I will sit and kill the same little creature over and over and over again, trying to level up. So, but what about this week? What have you been playing?
Well, like I said, Odyssey just started getting into that. I remember, I think it was a few days ago. I think we were talking to you in chat or something, and we were talking about Ukulele. They actually just sent out the codes for that, I believe, yesterday, and I just got it downloaded, and I started messing with that a little bit. It actually has little arcade games in it, which I had no idea about. I guess they're arcade games that they made up with the Ukulele universe.
Okay. So
I was kind of messing around with those. I haven't gotten into the main game yet. I was actually going to start that either tomorrow morning or after work. Tomorrow. Mess around with that a little bit, but yeah, I guess we'll see how good that is. I heard they did a lot of improvements since the Xbox and the PlayStation versions. But other than that, I've been playing other stuff non-Nintendo, but Nintendo wise, it's pretty much just been starting off on Odyssey and kind of messing with that Ukulele, and then I kind of been playing old school Mario 3.
Okay.
See, I don't remember ever beating Mario Brothers 3. So I was like, okay, I got to go back and make sure I beat this game. So I've been playing it on 3DS. So I think I'm on world 4 or 5 right now. So I'm trying to get through that.
That's cool. So you're using the save states, obviously.
Yeah, but I still refuse to do it in the middle of the level because I feel like that's cheating. So I got to beat the level and then I can save it.
Okay, so it's essentially just leaving the NES
do it every little hard part. They'll save right before and then try to get through. That's not cool.
Yeah, I have lost levels on my 3DS, so there was a few times I'm like, okay, I completed that. I'm saving right here. That game is brutal.
Now, lost levels might be the exception to that rule because that game is hard.
It is definitely hard. So, but that's cool, man. I remember doing that. doing that as well, because I remember I would sit and play World 8 forever on Mario 3, and I never owned Mario 3 as a kid. I would only borrow it from friends, so I never had the chance to like really like master that game. And so I would save all my P-Wings and all those clouds and try to get to the last part. And it wasn't until years later that I finally went through and beat Mario 3. But what a great game! What a great game! That's super cool. So, any pickups for you in the last week? I know it's getting to that holiday season, so you're not supposed to buy anything for yourself.
Well, unfortunately for me, see, that's where I'm big at, is collecting. I'm guilty about buying so much stuff that I can't play at all. Yeah, I know that's bad, and I know tons of people are like, "Oh, you're a shelf collector type." You know how people are with that. But
I mean, nobody in this chat will judge you. You're in good company. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, I love stopping at thrift shops, like on the way home from work, and I will find random stuff there all the time. Like I found a couple weeks ago Sims 3 for PlayStation 3. They wanted $3 for it. I found out it was worth like $17 trading credit at GameStop.
That's cool.
So I have no interest in playing that game, but I'll flip it. Right,
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I actually picked up. Let's see, have you ever heard of an app called Mercury? I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's MERCARI. It's kind of like eBay, but it's an app on your phone where people buy and sell things.
I haven't, but I mean, kind of like OfferUp.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but I think it's more eBay, because you buy and sell and you ship it out and everything. You don't meet the person in person.
Okay, I got you.
Well, I buy and sell a lot of games on there, so I mean, I'm picking up stuff pretty decent price on there, because I don't think a lot of people know about it. You know, at first it was a little bit sketchy, because I'm like, okay, well, I've never heard of this app. I was kind of like, am I going to get ripped off by thinking I'm going to buy something and never get it?
Sure.
But now I've used it for over a year now, and I just got Mario Golf for the Game Boy Advance with a manual for $12 shipped. Thought that was a pretty decent deal.
Yeah, that's a great deal. That's awesome.
But yeah, I've actually even gone on Amazon. And Amazon. You know, remember when Amazon, I think like a month ago, was running those I think it was like their warehouse deals on like older games. Do you remember seeing that at all?
I don't think I did.
Well, I ended up picking up Mario Pinball for Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
And it actually came in the original box.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which I thought was really weird, because I was thinking I'm just going to get the card only, but it came complete. And, you know, I think I got paid like $10 for it or something. Yeah, not much.
That's super cool. That's especially get the box. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, in the past week I haven't really picked up a whole lot, because yeah, you're right, it is holiday time. I got to find stuff for my wife, but right. No, that's probably pretty much it that I've picked up recently.
So I ordered WWE, and then I saw IGN gave it a 3.8, and it looks like a garbage truck on fire. So that's unfortunate. Maybe updates, which will probably just take up more space on the SD card. So maybe 64 gigs later, that game will actually run. More than likely, the Switch will need an expansion pack to make that game run. That's what I'm going to go with on that one. So we'll see how they figured that out. I ordered it from Amazon, but they don't know when they're going to even have it in stock. So
Kirby Geeks out of stock.
Yeah, it's out of stock, which is weird, because I just saw it at I was in GameStop today, just kind of checking to see that. For some reason, my local GameStop has a lot of the indie titles on the Switch that most places don't get. So it's kind of cool. I can kind of see which ones I'm missing, and so I found a pinball game that I didn't even know existed. So I was like, oh, okay, well that's good to know. So, but I think I ordered The End Is Nigh from Best Buy tonight. So another, is it Nicholas or Nicalis? I'm not sure how they say it exactly, but another one of their titles. So I'm one of these days I'll actually try some of those games. Because they just go on my
some
shelf.
chat saying dogging you a little bit on that.
Yeah, they're always going to dog me. So that's what I'm here for. But yeah, and I also pre-ordered the Shovel Knight 3-pack amiibo.
Yeah, I just saw that pop up on Amazon.
Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked to get those and leave them in their package. So that'll be that'll be good. But upcoming releases, Brawlout. This is. Have you seen much of this game?
I did watch a trailer on it. It definitely looks like a must pick up if you're a Smash Brothers fan.
Yeah, it really does look like a Smash Bros. Ripoff, more or less. Like, I'm wondering if it has like the smash attack with the like the right stick and everything. You know, I'm a little curious on how this game is going to how it's going to play.
Yeah, definitely.
The characters look interesting. The gameplay looks good. It looks hectic. I mean, it really does look like a Smash game. So maybe it'll kind of wet that whistle until we get a real Smash game. Would this be one you pick up?
Yeah, I think I am. Do you remember seeing a price on that? I can't remember what it was.
I'm pulling it up right now to see when the date is that it drops. Excuse me. So I believe it's $19.99. Yeah, $19.99 Brawlout comes out on the 19th. So there's a lot of games coming out. It's crazy.
It's not bad price.
You got Mutant Mud Collection coming out very soon. For only $10, that's a good deal. I see Ukulele's coming out the 14th as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of games coming out. I'm still wondering where Pocket Rumble is. It says 2017, but on Nintendo's site, which they also show Payday as 2017, but I believe that got a release date for February. I believe is where Payday got pushed to. So
yeah, that's I'm wondering when that some of those games they announced at what they call it, the Nindies.
Yeah,
I know really hated that.
Yeah.
Indies or whatever, but yeah, I think I remembered or wondering like when some of these games are really going to come out. I think they announced too many games with that and saying, "Oh, these will all be out by the end of the year," and they're like, "Oh, maybe not."
Yeah, they announced a lot, and then they released like 3 times as much, and then some of these games have just kind of disappeared. So,
well, what's that one that's like, what is that? There's a game I'm really looking forward to coming out now. It's slipping my mind. I think it's made by Chucklefish Games. It's supposed to be like those advanced war games, and I'm really looking forward to that game coming out. And I haven't heard anything about it.
Isn't it something like Kingdom something? Isn't that in the title? I think Kirby would know.
I can't remember for the life of me.
I think she's mentioned it. Barbara Gordon, or sorry, what's?
Yeah, somebody help us.
Yeah, Barbara, help! What's the name of that game? So, yeah, we'll see. She's got to catch up with the lag on Twitch here. So, but yeah, there's a couple of Advance Wars style games coming out. I believe. I think there's at least 2.
Okay, I found the title of the game. It's Wargroove.
Wargroove. There it is. She put it in the chat right as you said it.
Did she get it? Okay, cool.
Next year, buddy. All caps. That's when you know she's serious. When it's all caps, you got to watch out.
Hey, she's on it, man.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the news and our talking points here. The Game Awards, which I did just a quick recap show last week, but I do want to talk a little bit extent like about Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3. I mean, are you pretty hyped? Have you played any of these games?
I messed with Bayonetta, the original Bayonetta, a little bit. Unfortunately, I missed 2. It seemed like it had for a while there when I was interested in picking it up, it had like a small print run or something. It seemed like I couldn't find it anywhere. The 1 and 2 pack is what I mean. Yeah,
that one's the hard one to come by. It's fairly expensive now. You can find just Bayonetta 2 on like Amazon or whatever for like, I don't know if it's still $60 or whatever, but yeah, the 1 and 2 pack is not it's not easy to get. I was pretty fortunate. I snagged that one right away. So, but you said you did play 1?
Yeah, I played 1, I believe, on the PlayStation. I think it was PS3, I believe it came out for. I think so.
I think so, and 360, I believe, because I have it on my Xbox One now. It was like a free game or whatever.
Okay, so then, that's what I played on that. And then, so I'm really excited about playing them on Switch. I'm just going to buy the double pack.
Alka-Seltzer's asking about your picture in chat. Is that a Pokeball or 2 dudes standing next to a weird wall?
It's actually, it's so small, but I went to GameStop Expo in August. It was in Vegas, and it's actually a picture of me and Kurt Angle. I met him at the expo.
Very cool.
But yeah, actually now looking at it, does look like a Pokeball for how small.
It does. That's rad. So yeah, Bayonetta 1 and 2, from everything I know so far, is that we are getting 2 on a cart, and 1 is going to be a download code, which that makes me sad.
Sounds like Revelations all over again.
Right. There is a special edition in the UK that has the cart for 1 and 2. So there's still a chance that we might get the cart over here. Destinot's screaming trash, so he is not a fan of the download code, nor am I. Like, I'm not. I'd rather have the cart, honestly. I'd rather either see a cart that has has both games on it, or just see 2 carts, so but whatever. And then we got Bayonetta 3 coming out as well, exclusively on the Switch, at least first. And this is pretty exciting news. I mean, we didn't really know what 2018 had in store for us until the Game Awards, and now we already have a pretty good idea. And even after the awards, we found out some more games, which we're going to talk about here shortly. It's already shaping up to be a good year on the Switch, and we have very little info on first party stuff. So, do you think you'll pick up 1 and 2 before you pick up 3, just to keep, have all 3 of them on your Switch?
Yeah, definitely. Did they kind of give a time frame for 3, or did it just said Bayonetta 3 coming soon or something? I
think it did say 2018, so I'm guessing holiday, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Hopefully Barbara can give us the. I'm sure she'll be on it here soon. Yeah.
I will say that Bayonetta 3 thing was kind of a bombshell on that Game Awards show. I was kind of shocked that something like that got announced.
Yeah, it was really a shock, especially from Reggie himself. Usually you'd think it would be like some kind of first party Nintendo title that he would mention, but no, it was like, hey, here's 1 and 2 and here's 3 also. So
yeah, and definitely Nintendo, it seems like they're starting to get with the times. Like, this past year has probably been the best year they've had in a while.
Oh, it's been crazy, dude. One, with the Game Awards, I just want to mention marketing completely on point for Nintendo. Like, we saw a lot of
Rocket League.
We saw Rocket League for the Switch, but we also saw just a lot of Switch videos as well. So that was a lot of Switch commercials, which I thought it was good. I mean, Nintendo wanted to be on the forefront, and because of that, we've seen 10 million Switches sold already. Right?
That's huge.
Like 9 months, 10 million Switches. Now, the PS4 did 10 million in 4 months. So, I mean, that, but Sony is taking notice. They've said they realize at this point that the Switch is a force to be reckoned with. And I think it's only going to keep getting better from here. And we have a listener question that we're going to get to later from Destinot that's going to talk about some of this stuff. But I got to thinking, it's like, why is the Switch doing so well? What is so appealing about this system that it's bringing people back to Nintendo? And I honestly think because of the time we live in now, where we are constantly on our phones, right? We are constantly looking at a screen. Anytime, we never are bored any longer. If we're standing in line for something, we're looking at our phone. If we're waiting for our oil to get changed, we're looking at our phone. If we're eating breakfast, we're looking at our phone. The Switch allows for that very thing. And it doesn't look like the toy that the 3DS is, right? Or the DS series. It looks just like another piece of tech that you could pull out like your phone. And I think that has a huge part of it, that it's like, it you know, that game that you were playing on your TV, you just pick it up and go. And it's like, I can't believe that I'm playing Doom or Skyrim on the go right now. Like this is it's kind of unreal to me, right? And I know we've been saying this since March, since the Switch came out, but the fact that we're seeing games of this caliber that we can just take on the go wherever we want, like I love the fact that like I was playing Xenoblade on my couch and then it was like, here, you know what? Let's go. We had to head down. My wife's like, I'll drive, bring your Switch. So I just kept grinding on Xenoblade, you know, we had like a 40-minute drive or whatever. And that's awesome. You know, it used to be I'd maybe play my 3DS or whatever, and that was fine. But like we're playing like full on games that we play on our TV on the go. And that ability to, you know, like it's taking the place of the phone in some cases, right? Where like everybody would always say, oh, nothing's ever going to compete with the phones. Like the Switch is doing it. It's, at least in my life, it is. Like I'll put my phone down and jump on the Switch if I have some, you know, a few minutes here and there. Or I want to, before I fall asleep at night, if I want to kill a few more monsters in Xenoblade or whatever, that's what I'll do. And, it's very, very impressive. And Sony is like, hey, we recognize this thing is much better than the Vita. And I think the Vita was a cool system. I never had one, but everything I hear people talk about it sounds like a great system, but it didn't, you know, it didn't have that that Nintendo touch, I guess. I don't know what it is. If it's just the fact that it's a hybrid system that can go on the TV and handheld. The other thing is though, like my brother-in-law, he's got younger boys. I went and took his son out and got him a DS, his first console. He's 6. And even his dad is like, hey, I kind of want to get a Switch, you know, like what game should I get? Like, I really want to play Zelda. It looks amazing, you know? So it's not just the cool tech that we're seeing with the Switch, but it's people seeing the games too and going, that looks amazing. I mean, you know, anybody that sees Zelda is probably going to want to play that. I mean, seeing that giant world and being able to go anywhere, that's a definite selling point right there. So, what do you think about Sony's response to about the Switch?
I mean, the thing is that they know the Vita failed, and it's their fault why it failed, because I'll tell you, I had the Vita probably within the first year that it came out, and there were so many good games for it. But then after a while, it just seemed like the good games stopped coming, and you were relying on a lot of indie titles. And then games just kept spreading out where it would be it kind of seemed like the Wii U. It'd be a long time before you saw a game come out for it. So I would think like, you know, they're seeing Nintendo and they're like, well, wait a minute, you know, maybe we went about this all wrong. Like, you know, Nintendo's got something here where you can kind of do a 2-for-1, you know, like hook it up at home, or you can, you know, take it on the go. Remember, Vita was trying to do that. Remember, they said start it on your PS4 and then continue it on the Vita or whatever. Right. Remember, they got sued for that or whatever because it didn't work how it was supposed to.
I didn't remember hearing that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think they end up having to give anybody who bought a Vita within the first year, because of how the certain games you were supposed to pick up and go with it. It didn't work like it was supposed to. So I think they settled a lawsuit where they gave everybody like a 1 month free PlayStation Plus and some BS credit or something, you know, nothing where we get anything, but the lawyers get a ton of money.
Right. Do like the old Nintendo and just, sorry, we'll give everybody a $5 off coupon to go buy their next game.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it was. And, you know, I'm kind of wondering what Sony's going to do here, because they remember how they kind of followed the Wii with their own PlayStation Move.
Right, for sure.
So you think there might be some copy where they may try to dabble in the system, or maybe not necessarily the same thing, but something that you can buy that maybe you'll go with the PS4 that you can take on the go, something more powerful, like a Vita 2, but called something different.
I don't know that Sony's going to worry about it. As far as trying to compete directly with the Switch, mainly because of the failure of the Vita. The Vita seemed like a more than powerful enough system to be able to, to be even like Prime Griffin saying, I love my Vita. You know, like it sounds like it was a great system, but they just didn't support it. So
the memory cards was the killer. Those were way too expensive.
Yeah, that's always kind of been the case with Sony stuff. It's kind of a bummer they do that. But I mean, you know, right now we're seeing both Sony and Microsoft just kind of sitting back on their laurels, going, we'll get to exclusive games eventually, or you know, there's not a lot this holiday season that either of those companies are doing to try to. They're almost in that position where it's like everybody has our system already, so you know, now what? But I mean, you've got Nintendo with like so many games, people can't even keep up, and that's a really good thing, and that's what they're definitely taking notice to, is like, how many times do I hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm going to wait till that comes to my Switch"?
I've actually started saying that, finding myself saying that now.
Right? Because the convenience, it's like, I'll sacrifice some of the graphics to be able to take it on the go.
Yep.
And in your case, you said you've not even had it in the dock yet at all. So, I mean, you know, you're going to get more playtime based on your style of when you can play by having it on your Switch than if you bought it on on the main consoles.
Yeah, and it's.
Uh-oh.
There
you go.
You there?
Okay. Yeah, Discord cut out for a second.
We froze for a second.
Yeah.
Like when my wife actually had a doctor's appointment last week. I actually took my Switch with me, and I was playing Mario Odyssey, and you just can't believe how good that thing looks when you're sitting in your car. This is way above Vita or 3DS, and it's like, I just can't believe I'm playing this on the go.
Right. Yeah. It's an amazing system, and even though it's underpowered, it's like the David and Goliath thing. I mean, not that like Nintendo is the smaller company, but it's the smaller system that's proving that gameplay may be more important than power. So, Street Fighter 3 30th anniversary. This has been a hot topic in our Discord, talking about like they already released Street Fighter. It's been a hot topic online. Some people are not very happy that they spent $40 on the version of Street Fighter that's already out there. Like, look, I understand Capcom just kind of dipping their toe in the water. Nobody knew what the Switch was going to do. Right? Nobody knew if it wasn't going to be the Nintendo hardcore that buy this system and then no one else does. And, you know, they are one of the many companies that's scrambling now to get software on this machine. So is Street Fighter 30th anniversary, 12 Street Fighter games? Is this a pickup for you?
Yeah. I didn't pick up the Street Fighter 2 because I was kind of like, well, maybe I'll wait for a price drop on that. But you know, it's kind of been sitting around $30-$40. I was hoping to get it at the $20 price mark, especially with the Gamers Club unlocked. You get the extra 20% off.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this collection now, is going to be a definite pickup. Now, my question to you is it all going to be on one cart, or are they going to give us some codes? How do you think this is going to play out?
Why do you ask these questions? If it's all on one card at this point, I'm going to be surprised. You know, I'm going to be surprised if, I just don't see it being the case. Especially it seems like what we end up getting is, and maybe this will be the case. Maybe they'll fit all the games on the cart, but the online stuff will be something you have to download separate so that you can take it online. You know, I don't know. These ROMs may be small enough that it's not that big of an issue, because I don't think we're getting into like Street Fighter 4 and those games that would definitely take up more space. But I could be wrong. I haven't looked at the whole list to see what. I mean, isn't there like 12 Street Fighter 2s? So I mean, that could pretty much fill up the whole the whole.
Isn't
card,
there 12 of every Street Fighter though?
Right, except for the first one, which like no one's ever played, and I was really excited to see that one made it onto the onto this list. Not that it's that
it's not
great.
even called Street Fighter, isn't it? Called something different, Fighter Street or something.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I'd have to look it up again. But Destinat says the game box will only have a ticket for a code and a book of stickers inside, and that's it. So that may be the case. But what I'm really excited about with this package is that we're getting the arcade ROMs. We're not getting the console ports. That may not be true for all of the games. I don't know that for a fact, but I from listening to the from the announcement that we are getting the arcade ROMs, and I love that, because I feel like the arcade ROMs, there's just something about them that they were always better than the consoles. You know, don't get me wrong, Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo, great game, but playing it in the arcade, just nothing really quite like it, you know. And this may be what I finally end up pulling the trigger to get myself a fight stick. They have a really cool looking one. I can't remember who makes it, but it looks like an NES kind of with like red buttons and black and gray and stuff. So that may be what gets me to pull the trigger on that. So we'll see.
Now, do you think the like for the Nam, you remember the Namco one that came out, the Namco collection?
Yeah, I remember because I bought it. Yeah, I did.
You sound disappointed.
It was a lot of money for not a lot of content.
Well, see, but on that, wasn't there the same thing where they had arcade ports instead of like? See, I really wanted it because they have the arcade port of the Splatterfest on it, and or Splatterhouse. I'm sorry, not Splatterfest.
Right.
But that's huge, because really that's kind of a pricey game. Like if the original Splatterhouse for like, what is it, Turbo Graphics. So I never really got to play that legally, you know. So I was like, oh, they have the arcade port. But yeah, definitely the price drew me away from that. But I was just curious how good the arcade port was on that compilation.
I have to play it again. I can let you know. I remember playing it like the first day I got it, but I don't. And
Josh picks up everything.
Right. Yeah. So I played it for approximately 5 minutes, maybe. No, when we got that thing, we were on vacation, and I remember we put the Switch in tabletop mode. We were sitting around the pool, and my wife and I were taking turns with Pac-Man and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, we did have a little bit of fun with it. It was just surprising that the for the price and what you actually got, I was like, man, this could have been $20 less, I think. So,
yeah, I think it was definitely overpriced, and they didn't even come out with the physical version, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. But I just got excited to see Pac-Man and some of those classic games, and you know, so I pulled the trigger like a dummy. Square Enix is this is crazy, is it wants to put games on the Switch that haven't been on Nintendo before, on Nintendo systems before, from my understanding. I didn't get a chance to like really dive into this, but from the little bit that I heard, this could end up meaning like Final Fantasies that, you know, were originally supposed to be Nintendo games, that went to the PlayStation. maybe coming over to the Switch, seeing some like HD remakes, not just ports. Kirby Geeks' better be Final Fantasy Tactics. So I want to hear from you guys in chat too. What do you guys think of this? And what do you think, Ice? I mean, is this are you a fan of those games?
I kind of fell off, honestly, after 7.
Okay.
I played, I did kind of mess with Tactics a little bit. That's a pretty good game. But yeah, I think they should do some type of like, I keep hearing rumors, and it might even been confirmed by somebody, but aren't they planning on doing a Final Fantasy compilation where they're putting a bunch of them together? Now, I don't know how that would work on Switch, but I thought I heard they said they were going to try to get at least the first 9 Final Fantasies in a collection.
I haven't heard anything, and as far as how it would go on the Switch, it would just be a bunch of pieces of paper with codes on them inside a case.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's so. Oh my gosh, Captain Logan bringing the dad jokes. Final Fantasy games aren't really final, so I won't play something that never ends. Fair enough.
Kingdom Hearts, I see somebody put in there. I think that might be a good one.
Yeah, and what if we got like a Kingdom Hearts and they even incorporated some of the Mushroom Kingdom and Mario and stuff like that? Wow. That might be
actually
pretty cool. You'd end up seeing like Mickey and Mario, who, Mario has a bunch of he's somewhat inspired by Mickey, so that would be pretty cool to see those two together in a game. But all right, well, moving right along. The Zelda DLC. I've only played the last part of it. Have you played any of it?
No.
Right, because you haven't even you haven't even touched Zelda
Breath
yet.
Of the Wild yet.
Yeah. Okay. So at first I was a little frustrated with it because I felt like the things they were having you do was just to it would just make the DLC seem longer. And then once I finally got the hang of it, it wasn't quite as bad. But at first I was really struggling finding these locations because you couldn't set a beacon to go to them. And I had been so long since I'd been into the world that I'm like, this is going to take me forever because there's like 16 locations that you have to find without being able to, there's 12 that you have to find without being able to use a beacon basically. So once I started getting the hang of it, it wasn't so bad. But once you get to the second part of the DLC where you and I'm not even going to spoil anything, but the second part of it is really, really good. And the final boss was probably I think in my opinion the best boss in the game. I liked it better than any of the other bosses. So maybe some people disagree with me, and that's fine, but I really liked it and was really impressed with the last part of it. So the second part of the DLC, I'm given like a 7.5, maybe even pushing an 8. The more I think about it, and then the motorcycle that you get when you finish it off, which they showed at the Game Awards. So fun to just drive around the kingdom. Or just that whole world on a motorcycle, and you can go so fast. You can get to locations so quickly. So I would say for the money, it is worth it. It doesn't feel super fresh. Like I was kind of hoping for maybe more of a new location, even if it was somewhere on the map, but like maybe you went underground to an area that we hadn't been to yet, something like that. If you're wanting something like that's a new, fresh experience, it's not really that. If you really just love what Breath of the Wild was and doing shrines and that kind of stuff, then you're going to love this DLC. So it's pretty good. So I want to get to this listener question from Destinaut. It says, Nintendo has come out of the gate swinging this gen. I've seen articles online saying that Sony has really taken notice, is concerned about Nintendo's relevance. Sony and Microsoft are trying to cram more current tech in their mid-gen systems to keep up with PC tech, while Nintendo is content with lower spec tech. Do you think Nintendo's low tech approach could have an opposite effect on what consoles are currently doing? Will the next PlayStation or Xbox think twice about another system upgrade? Thoughts, questions, or concerns? Ice, what do you think?
That's a tough one, man. I would honestly think that Sony is them and Microsoft, they got to be worried about Nintendo, because I mean, honestly, I think Nintendo will eventually pass Microsoft. I think they're going to be in second. The way they're going out. Now you were saying he was asking like about the technical. You kind of cut out a little bit on my.
Yeah. Since Sony and Microsoft are trying to cram more current tech in their mid-gen systems to keep up with PC tech, while Nintendo is content with a lower spec tech. Do you think Nintendo's low tech approach could have an opposite effect on what consoles are currently doing?
Okay. No, not really. I mean, you know how Nintendo is. They kind of do their own thing. They're not worried about anybody. They got so much money in the bank. They don't care about anybody. I mean, it's just like they've been underpowered since maybe the GameCube.
I mean, even yeah. The 64 was a powerful machine with limits because of the carts, right? So
yeah, people didn't want to spend that extra. Apparently, it costs a lot to make games for it. So I think that's where they lost some of like Square Enix and stuff, or Square, whatever they called themselves back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, for me, I feel like PlayStation and Xbox are kind of they're set where they're going to be, right? That's they're doing what they do, and I think that's the market they're in. I think that's the they're trying to reach just the console gamer. You know, can they ever really keep up with PC tech? Not really. I mean, a high-end PC is going to cost twice as much as an Xbox One X. And I mean, the Xbox One X is great if you have the monitor for it and everything else, you know? So, it's really Nintendo kind of doing their own thing, really wanting to make sure that their system sells at a profit instead of at a loss. And it's about the gameplay, right? It's about having fun games. It's about having a ton of indie games that are fun. It's about now getting AAA titles from third-party companies that are fun. And it's also having a stellar first-party lineup that we have not seen the likes of, I don't know, ever. You know, the amount of games that they are putting out is unreal, and they've already said we're going to see 1 to 2 new IPs a year, you know, plus some sequels and everything else. Like, it's a new Nintendo. It's not. Yes, they're playing to the beat of their own drum, but they're also. It feels like they're like, you know what, we're gonna give our customers what they want, instead of just telling them what they want. And that seems to be really what's working for them this time. Like, there's so many options, so many games to play on the Switch right now that we did not have on the Wii U. You know, there's clear marketing on what the Switch is. We did not have that on the Wii U. And there's people having a lot of fun playing the Switch. There's a lot of good word of mouth. You know, I'm a Nintendo fan. I always have been, but I still enjoy playing Xbox. I played Cuphead. I liked it. It was fun, but it didn't keep me. It didn't keep me to the point that I wanted to keep playing that. I wanted to get back to the Nintendo games that I had to play. You know, Odyssey and even playing a little bit of Doom and just stuff like that. Games that I have. Some of these games I have on the 360 already, but it's like, to see them on the Nintendo system, to use Amiibo with them and that kind of stuff. That's Nintendo kind of just doing their thing. And, you know, I know that I'm, getting the lesser experience graphically when I play Skyrim on my Switch versus playing it on my Xbox One, or playing Doom on my Switch versus the Xbox One, but I'm still having fun doing it. It's not like because the graphics aren't as good, it takes away from the fun. So, I I mean, I think PlayStation and Xbox are going to keep doing their thing. I hope that Nintendo rattles their cages enough that they step it up and start putting out more games on a more regular basis, and really like doing like Nintendo is doing and saying, hey, look, we know that we're not going to be the industry leader, but we're going to start reaching for that goal and putting out games and a system that could get them to that point. And, you know, I mean, we see this constantly, especially those of us that have been with like with the NES since the beginning, right? We've seen Nintendo's ups and downs. We've seen their highs and lows. And this is the first time I feel that it's not just Nintendo saying, no, we're going to do what we want, but they're doing what is best for their customers, and it's bringing people back. You know, they're making incredible games. They're making them run on a system that's underpowered compared to the others, but people are on board. So, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I think Nintendo, they're all about the games. I mean, their games are so much higher quality, in my opinion, than Microsoft for sure. It's like Microsoft, they'll try to put games out. You know, they got to meet. I will say they're doing pretty good with Crackdown if that ever comes out. But it seems like Nintendo will give you a date, and then if they don't like their product, they will stop it from coming out on that date and say, "Hey, this is getting delayed. We want it up to our Nintendo seal of quality." So I mean, they want top quality stuff.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And I think what we've seen with games like Zelda and Mario, I think those games were probably finished maybe a year before they were released, but they just kept putting more and more into them, and it paid off. You know, it really paid off. So
now, do you think the Switch Nintendo's going to make a revision of it, like kind of like what they've done with like their handhelds? You think they're going to make like a slimmer Switch or something, maybe a little bit more powerful?
Honestly, my prediction is that we're going to see an updated tablet. That's probably, I feel like the Switch is probably 2-year-old tech. That way, when it sells at a profit. So yeah. I imagine 2 years from now, we'll get what would be current tech now, and then the screen maybe will be 1080p. You know, almost. I wonder if we're going to get more of an Apple model where like the iPad is new every year, right? And Kirby Geek keeps trolling me and saying Joy-Cons Pro Plus. Like, I really hope we can just keep using Joy-Cons. Like, if they get to the point where they just sell the tablet, like I think I have like 4 extra sets of Joy-Cons now, you know, so like, or 2 extra sets. So if I can get just the tablet, I could have Switches ready to go on, you know, in handheld mode. And so I hope we see upgrades to the system that way. And then they just do updates to the game so that they can be the higher resolution and that kind of stuff. And then
maybe no dock.
What's that?
Maybe they'll sell a cheaper version without the dock for people because you know how they sell the dock separately. Wonder if they're just going to sell the tablet by itself. Yeah,
that's kind of what I wonder too. I you know, I don't know what their plan is exactly, but I feel like because that's what the technology is happening with phones and iPads, that kind of stuff. I feel like that technology is going to be easier to come by, and so it's not going to cost as much to reproduce. And they could, you know, keep putting out another system. I mean, they could do 3 upgrades of the Switch tablet in a 6-year lifespan. I mean, that's a typical console lifespan. But I mean, they could do it for even longer if we don't need an update to the Joy-Cons and that kind of stuff. And who knows? I mean, you know, we've already seen with the new systems like the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X, like really the Xbox One X should be the new Xbox, that the old games are backwards compatible on it almost, but instead we still have it being the Xbox One. So we're seeing stuff that we've never seen in the game industry before, of console generations becoming much shorter, and that kind of almost going to the wayside. So, and with Nintendo kind of doing their own thing, if they're like, hey, we'll have a Switch ready to go in a year from now that's more powerful, and we can sell it for $199 for just the Switch itself, or $150. I mean, and still make a profit on that. Who's not going to want to have the better screen, and still have a working tablet that they could, technically have too. I don't know, business wise, I don't know what the best decision is for them. I mean, they could sell just the upgrade model, I guess, for everybody that has all the stuff, but I don't know for them if like selling those accessories and everything kind of help with profit. I just don't know. I don't know. Superstar says, I'll drop the price. Let's see. It'll probably also still be able to dock, just optional, and let's see, just optional and pay to access. It'll drop the price by $80, to be honest. So, who knows? Like we it's all just speculation at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see a little more of an Apple model with the tablet upgrading every couple of years.
It seems like that's the world we live in now. Everything's just every year you got something new.
Exactly. So, well, we've gone long, but before we got into the podcast, we were talking about retro stuff, and you mentioned that we were kind of talking Nintendo Power and that kind of stuff. There's a magazine that's kind of a Nintendo Power successor. What is the name of that, and where can people find it?
It's actually called Nintendo Force. I have one over here. Let me grab it. It's actually pretty good quality. The neat thing about it is, like, it comes out every other month. It's not every month, and it's only $5 shipped. So I give them $5 every other month for Patreon.
Okay.
And I heard about it somewhere. I'm sure you've heard of Nintendo Life.
Oh yeah.
I believe they were talking about it or whatever, but they like I said, they do it every other month, and it actually comes with a double-sided poster too. And this is only $5. It's $5 for ship. They don't charge shipping or anything. And it's like the newest one that I just got. It's the November-December issue. It's got Super Mario Odyssey on the cover, and the poster has Super Mario Odyssey on one side and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the other. Oh,
that's cool. That's cool. I'm definitely going to go check it out, because that sounds like something I would definitely be into. So.
Yeah, I think you like it, dude, because they got it reminds me a lot of Nintendo Power, because they do all the reviews, and they got all types of stuff in here. It's pretty neat.
That's really cool. Well, hey man, I know you don't like do much as far as like YouTube or that kind of stuff, but do you have like a Twitter or anything that people could follow you if they want to?
Yeah, it's just Ice30 is my Twitter.
Cool. And I mean, he's a regular in the streams and hangs out in our Discord as well. So do recommend you guys check that out. There's a link right there in the show notes that you can see to the Discord. You're welcome to come hang out. You're going to find me on Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and I I posted on Snapchat for like the first time in a long time. I updated my story or whatever. I don't even know how to say it, because like I'm not one of the cool kids, but I was at American Eagle with two of my kids, that one's 12 and one's 15. And I'm like, hey, help me post on Snapchat to my story. So I took a selfie, which I don't like doing. And then I put in the text that, shopping is not lit, fam. Right. So my son's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And then I put the swear emoji next to my face. Right. And then I don't even know what they say. I posted that, or I snapped that, or whatever. So, I'm telling the lady that's that's ringing up their clothes. What I did, I thought my kids were gonna die. Like, it was the most epic dad moment ever. And so when I told her, I said it was lit, fam, she was like, oh my gosh, you're using their words. Like, I was having such a good time. We're leaving the store. My son's like, never do that again.
Yeah, they probably were not happy about that.
Oh no, but it was great. So I am on Snapchat. I periodically post there. You guys can check that out there. Everything's N64 Josh. So YouTube, everything. If you're enjoying the shows, guys, leave us a rating on iTunes. I'd really, really appreciate that. The more ratings we have, the better chance we have of rating in the top 200, which gets more eyes and ears on the show. So if you can just take a second, even if you just hit the 5-star, if you're enjoying it, if you can write a review, that's cool too. But even just hitting the 5-star, I really appreciate that. Remember, audibletrial.com/NPC. Get yourself a free audiobook. Super Mario is great. The Ultimate History of Video Games is also really good. Ready Player One is also really good, and the trailer for that just dropped, so make sure to check that out. audibletrial.com/NPC. If you're interested in getting into Bitcoin, if you invest $100, you get $10, I get $10, which is kind of cool. You can go to lootcave.com/Bitcoin. There'll also be a link in the show notes for that. OPC is the chair I'm sitting in right now. It's comfortable. It's affordable. You can save $10 by using coupon code N64Josh. That's opc.com. And I did mention it earlier. I do have a Patreon now if you want to get yourself extra podcasts, some extra videos, some blog posts. It's just patreon.com/N64Josh. Thank you again for listening. Guys, if you're here live, thank you so much for hanging out. Ice, thanks for hanging out and talking Nintendo with me. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, no, it was fun.
Staying up late. I appreciate it, dude. So thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week.